Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Fluent Path English. I'm James.
And I'm Emily. Thanks for joining us today. James, do you remember the first time you tried doing laundry by yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I ruined a couple of shirts by mixing colors with whites. It was a disaster.
That's a common mistake. And that's exactly what today's dialogue is about.
That's right. In today's conversation, a man is trying to learn how to properly do laundry, and a woman is walking him through all the steps.
Yes. You'll hear lots of useful vocabulary and phrases related to doing laundry, removing stains, and operating machines.
Exactly. All right. Now let's listen to their conversation for the first time.
Okay, let's go through this one more time. I don't want any more ruined or dyed blouses.
I know. Okay, so I had to separate the colors from the whites and put them in this strange-looking contraption so-called washing machine.
Right. You have to turn it on and program it depending on what type of clothes you're washing. For example, for delicates, you should set a shorter washing cycle. Also, be sure to use fabric softener and this detergent when washing.
So complicated. Okay, what about this red wine stain? How do I get it out?
Since this is a white t-shirt, you can just pour a little bit of bleach on it and it will do the trick.
Cool. Then I can just throw everything in the dryer for an hour and it's all set, right?
No! Since you're washing delicates and cotton, you should set the dryer to medium heat and for 20 minutes.
You know what? I'll just have everything dry cleaned.
That was a funny conversation. It really shows how overwhelming laundry can be if you're not used to it.
Totally. I liked how the woman stayed calm while explaining each step. And the man was clearly trying, but also a bit clueless.
Yeah, especially calling the washing machine a strange-looking contraption. That cracked me up.
Me too. But it's a great example of learning everyday life skills. All right, now let's take a look at some key phrases from that dialogue.
Let's start with the phrase, go through.
Go through.
Go through.
This phrase means to review or examine something carefully. In the dialogue, let's go through this one more time means let's review the steps again carefully.
Right. Similar expressions are review, check, or go over.
For example, let's go through the checklist before the flight. That means to review each item carefully before traveling.
Next up is ruin.
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 Ruin means to destroy or spoil something completely. In the dialogue, she says, I don't want any more ruined or dyed blouses, meaning her clothes were damaged in previous laundry attempts.
Similar words are wreck, spoil, or damage.
For example, the rain ruined our picnic. That means the picnic was spoiled because of the rain.
Now let's look at contraption.
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 This is a humorous or informal word for a device or machine, especially one that looks strange or unfamiliar. The man refers to the washing machine as this strange-looking contraption.
Right. It's often used when someone doesn't understand how a machine works. Similar words are gadget or device.
For example, what is this contraption? It looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. That means the machine looks very unusual or unfamiliar.
Next is so-called.
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 This phrase is used to show that you're doubtful or don't fully accept the name of something. When he says, so-called washing machine, he's joking that he doesn't really understand how it works.
It can sometimes sound sarcastic. For example, the so-called expert didn't know what he was doing. That means the person claimed to be an expert, but wasn't really competent.
Next is the phrase, depending on.
Depending on.
Depending on.
This means based on or according to. In the dialogue, depending on what type of clothes you're washing means you need to choose the settings based on the fabric type.
You often hear this in instructions. For example, we'll go hiking or swimming depending on the weather. That means the activity changes based on weather conditions.
And finally, delicates.
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 This refers to clothing items made from fragile or sensitive fabrics, like silk or lace. In the dialogue, the woman says, "For delicates, you should set a shorter washing cycle," which means you should choose a gentle wash setting to avoid damaging those delicate fabrics.
Exactly. These items need to be washed more gently.
For example, I always wash my delicates in a mesh bag to protect them. That means she uses a protective bag when washing delicate clothing.
All right, now that we've gone through those phrases, let's listen to the conversation a second time and see if you can catch them in context.
Okay, let's go through this one more time. I don't want any more ruined or dyed blouses.
I know. Okay, so I had to separate the colors from the whites and put them in this strange-looking contraption so-called washing machine.
Right. You have to turn it on and program it depending on what type of clothes you're washing. For example, for delicates, you should set a shorter washing cycle. Also, be sure to use fabric softener and this detergent when washing.
So complicated. Okay, what about this red wine stain? How do I get it out?
Since this is a white t-shirt, you can just pour a little bit of bleach on it and it will do the trick.
Cool. Then I can just throw everything in the dryer for an hour and it's all set, right?
No! Since you're washing delicates and cotton, you should set the dryer to medium heat and for 20 minutes.
You know what? I'll just have everything dry cleaned.
Listening again, you can really hear how carefully she explained everything, from sorting laundry to setting the dryer.
Yes, and the man, even though he found it hard, still asked questions and tried to follow along.
I also like that the dialogue includes practical advice, like how to handle a red wine stain.
Exactly! Now let's go over a few more helpful expressions from the conversation.
Let's start with the phrase, be sure to.
Be sure to.
Be sure to.
This phrase means to remember to do something or to make sure you don't forget. In the dialogue, the woman says, "Be sure to use fabric softener and this detergent when washing." She's giving clear instructions not to skip those items.
Right. And just to explain, fabric softener is a liquid that makes clothes feel soft and smell fresh after washing. Detergent is the soap or powder that actually cleans the clothes.
For example, be sure to lock the door when you leave. That means don't forget to do it.
Next up is stain.
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 A stain is a mark or spot that is difficult to remove, usually from food, drinks, or dirt. In the dialogue, the man says, "What about this red wine stain?" He's asking how to remove the red wine mark from his shirt.
For example, I spilled coffee on my shirt and now there's a stain. That means there's a visible mark that won't come out easily.
Now let's talk about the phrase, do the trick.
Do the trick.
Do the trick.
This means to solve the problem or to be effective. In the dialogue, the woman says that pouring bleach on the shirt will do the trick, meaning it will successfully remove the stain.
For example, if you're tired, a short nap should do the trick. That means a nap will help fix the tiredness.
Next is, it's all set.
It's all set.
It's all set.
This means everything is ready or finished. In the dialogue, the man says, "Then I can just throw everything in the dryer for an hour and it's all set, right?" He's asking if that will complete the laundry process.
For example, the table is set and the food is ready. We're all set for dinner. That means everything is prepared.
And finally, let's look at have everything dry cleaned.
Have everything dry cleaned.
Have everything dry cleaned.
Good one. This is a great example of the structure, have something done, which means to arrange for someone else to do something for you.
Right. In the dialogue, the man says, "I'll just have everything dry cleaned," meaning he'll take the clothes to a professional cleaning service instead of doing it himself. He says it in a kind of frustrated way, like giving up.
A similar example would be, I had my car washed yesterday. That means someone else washed the car for you.
Exactly. It's a very natural and useful structure to talk about services.
All right, let's listen to the dialogue one final time and see if you can recognize these expressions.
Okay, let's go through this one more time. I don't want any more ruined or dyed blouses.
I know. Okay, so I had to separate the colors from the whites and put them in this strange-looking contraption so-called washing machine.
Right. You have to turn it on and program it depending on what type of clothes you're washing. For example, for delicates, you should set a shorter washing cycle. Also, be sure to use fabric softener and this detergent when washing.
So complicated. Okay, what about this red wine stain? How do I get it out?
Since this is a white t-shirt, you can just pour a little bit of bleach on it and it will do the trick.
Cool. Then I can just throw everything in the dryer for an hour and it's all set, right?
No! Since you're washing delicates and cotton, you should set the dryer to medium heat and for 20 minutes.
You know what? I'll just have everything dry cleaned.
All right, we're back. Hopefully, our listeners picked up some useful laundry-related expressions today.
Yeah. Doing laundry can be a bit tricky, especially if you're living on your own for the first time.
Exactly. Knowing how to properly care for your clothes is a great life skill, and speaking about it in English is just as useful.
And I loved the ending. The man gave up and said he'd just have everything dry cleaned. It's funny, but a lot of people feel the same way.
That's true, but with the right vocabulary and practice, anyone can become a laundry pro.
Definitely. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.
We'll be back soon with more real-life English conversations.
See you next time.
Bye.